Welcome to Just Another Day in America, folks. I'm Dean Charles. This is Between the Left and the Hard Place. We are a center-left podcast, and here we go. The government's still shut down. People aren't getting their paychecks. The Democrats and Republicans are fighting. The Democrats are fighting between themselves. You have two governors' races, one in Virginia and one in New Jersey, with two so-called moderate Democrats who, claim to be moderate but have some far-left views themselves. And Abigail Spanberger seems to be comfortably ahead. And in New Jersey, it seems close race. Then you have the mayor race in New York City, where Zohran Mamdani seems to be comfortably in the lead. He's a Democratic Socialist of America. I don't believe the Democrats and the Democratic Socialists of America belong in the same political platform, but who am I to say? I'm just one old guy with an opinion, right? So I think that people should really read it and read the Democratic Socialists of America political platform, but I guess they're not, especially the youth and the kids are coming out hand over fist for Zoran. This is what they want. I don't understand what they want, but this is what they want. I really feel like social media has warped their minds a little bit. It's taken them in a direction where they constantly see everybody with billionaires. Everyone's a billionaire, right? Everywhere you look, there's another billionaire or hundreds of millions and, huge numbers. And I think they all feel entitled to that somehow without working for it. Some of it's just flat out luck. Some of it's hard work, putting yourself in a position to get lucky. But some of it's just luck, and people don't understand that sometimes that's what capitalism is. Not everybody gets what they want, but hard work still will get you mostly what you want. And I don't think people understand that. But anyway, I don't understand the youth. Please help me out. Write some comments. Tell me, what am I missing? What am I missing about the youth and why they're so head over heels over Zohran Mamdani? Because the Democratic Socialists of America political platform is kind of racist, if you ask me. I know he's backed off his defund the police stance, but because, safety is paramount. It's two things that are paramount in this country, right? Safety and opportunity. And without it, you don't have really anything that the United States stands for, because the Constitution, that's basically what the Constitution stands for: safety and opportunity, if you put it in a nutshell. And, yes, we need a better social net in this country. And I don't think anybody's going to argue about that. But, at the same time, the Democrats have to get their shit together. There are a lot of Democrats who supported Mamdani. There's a lot of Democrats that didn't support him. Most Democrats kept their mouth shut and didn't say yay or nay to it. And I think that's wrong as well. I think that's the most wrong. Either support him or don't support him. Either you're a socialist or you're a capitalist. Which one are you? Because you can't have it both ways. It's not going to work. You're going to lose to the Republicans. I guarantee it. I guarantee that not denouncing him is going to haunt you in the next election, especially if you're running in some kind of purple district. It doesn't matter what seat you're running for, if it's Congress, the House, the Senate, local, mayor, city council, state assembly, whatever it is, it's going to come back to haunt you. But, people need to concentrate on the two things that are most important: safety and opportunity. And the other thing the Democrats have to, I don't know how to explain this, but sometimes there's things I agree with President Trump on. I just do. I just agree with him on some things. And that doesn't make me a Republican. And, guys like Chris Cuomo, it drives them nuts, but also Stephen A. Smith and Bill Maher, also, they kind of laugh about it. But I know Chris Cuomo drives them nuts. Like, if I agree with President Trump, all of a sudden I'm MAGA. All my friends are like, oh, you're MAGA now, you're MAGA. And then people want to take you down for agreeing with them. But here's two things I've been saying it for my whole life. I've been saying this. Two things. One is the drug problem. When I got out of college, I lived in New York. Right, I moved to New York City, and it was very hard. I had to have two jobs to get by. It cost a lot of money, to live there. I think it was more expensive then in the 80s than it is now. That's what I don't understand about these kids. You make a go of it, and either works or it didn't work. I had the opportunity to move to LA, so I took it because I knew it would be easier financially to live in LA at that time, which it was, and way more fun for me. Although New York was a fun place, but it was a really expensive place. But in the 80s, President Trump was kind of a cultural icon, so he's going to know what I'm talking about here. He was one of the kings of New York back then, He was literally a cultural icon. But the drug problem in New York was out of control, even in the 80s. The cocaine was everywhere. It was snowing in New York like you can't even imagine every day, every night, every time you went out, everywhere you went. But cocaine was the biggest problem because, of its addictive properties. And other people were doing pills, Quaaludes and whatever else they were doing, and of course marijuana. But the drugs were everywhere. I even said back then, because I just wasn't into the drugs. Wasn't my thing, right? Ronald Reagan was president, and I would say, how come President Reagan doesn't take care of the drug problem? Because if I was president, I'd call Colombia and say, "I'll give you 30 days. Either you stop it or I will." Whatever country. President Trump's going after Venezuela right now, but, whatever country it happened to be. It could be Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia, anywhere that's producing drugs and bringing them to the United States. I would have been the same way. 30 days, you end it or I will. And Reagan didn't do it. Bush Sr. didn't do it. Clinton didn't do it, Bush Jr. didn't do it, Obama didn't do it, and I thought in Trump's first term, that's something he would have done. Joe Biden didn't do it either. He has a son who's a drug addict, but now Trump is doing it, right? He's doing it now. President Trump says, look, drugs are a problem. He's seen it. He lived in New York. Everybody in this country's been affected by drugs. Everyone. You either know somebody, you either did drugs yourself, a family member, someone, in and out of rehab, maybe dying, maybe putting their family at risk and their friends at risk and themselves at risk. It's horrible. I mean, everybody's been privy to it or been, seen it in this country. President Trump's the first president to say, hey, I'm going to do something about it. Let's stop it. Fentanyl deaths are already way down from last year. Go to any college and pull up their stats. How many fentanyl deaths there were last year compared to this year, or anywhere in the country where, people were getting a hold of fentanyl. Seriously, go look, go find out. And I don't understand the Democrats are complaining about it. Who wants to complain about it? If he wants to stop drugs and stop people from dying, let him do it. He's the first president to do it. It's just something I agree with, something I would do myself. And the fact that, anything Donald Trump does can't be right is just mind-boggling. The same goes the other way for you Republicans. Anything Joe Biden did was wrong. I don't agree with that either. This tit for tat stuff is ridiculous. Two wrongs don't make a right. I mean, didn't everybody learn that in grade school from their parents and their teachers and their clergy? Seriously. Well, I don't understand. So, so drugs is one, and two is gangbangers and kids dying in the streets, and specifically black on black crime, right? Black on black murders. Why wouldn't you want to stop that? People die. I moved to LA and I worked in downtown LA for over 15 years, and I got to know a lot of people from all different backgrounds. I had to go into, different warehouses and manufacturers in South Central all the time. And it doesn't matter whether you're from Inglewood, South Central, Compton, wherever. There's people there who have lost and are still losing their kids to drugs and gang violence. It makes no sense. Why wouldn't you want to stop that? These people, you don't think these people hurt if they have a kid that gets killed in a gangbang shooting? You don't think these mothers are like anyone else and just hurt inside so bad? There can't be anything worse than losing a child. I don't care who you are, right? It doesn't matter who you are. Nobody will disagree with that. There's no pain worse than losing a child. So you don't think just because you're the mother of some kid that got shot in a gangbang, they don't feel the same thing? That's ridiculous. So I look at these mayors and these governors in these cities that, especially like Chicago, obviously, is the one that stands out the most. But there's other cities too have high murder rates. DC had a high murder rate, and President Trump took care of that apparently. And I guarantee everyone's happy there. But why are you complaining about it? They say, oh, it's our business. Let us take care of it. It doesn't, Donald Trump can't come in here and do this. It's authoritarian and blah, 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 blah. He just wants to stop people from being murdered. Give these kids a chance. Give them a chance to get out of the gangs, stop the gangs, figure out something else that they can do so they can grow old, have families of their own. It doesn't make sense. That's what I thought the Democrats stood for. Equality for all, the opportunity for everyone. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what the color of your skin is, or your religion or anything. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. But you have people saying, oh, leave the hood alone. We take care of the hood. No, you don't. You politicians who say that drive me nuts. Seriously, every person that I know that grew up in a bad neighborhood wants to get out, wants it to be better. They want President Trump to come in and stop the violence. You think they want to live there while gangbangers are running around shooting each other? Even maybe their own kids? You think that's what they want? No, they want their kids to have more opportunity, better opportunity, something to look forward to. This is crazy. Let President Trump go in and clean up that kind of crime. Stop the murders. I don't understand it. Why would Democrats fight against that? Nobody else has done it, and I don't understand the reason. Is it just political? I mean, honestly, if it's black on black crime, nobody seems to care. Even the people like the Democratic Socialists of America, they don't care if it's black on black. They only care if it's white on black, right? Or white on any color, then they care. They don't even care if it's black on white. They just care if it's white on black or white on anyone of color. I don't understand. No one's talking about what's going on in like Nigeria, where Boko Haram and Islamic jihadists are killing black Christians for fun, hundreds of thousands over the last few years. But let's just talk about America. Let President Trump clean it up. What are you scared of? Why wouldn't you? You're scared he's an authoritarian and now he's going to come after everyone? I don't know. I don't get that. Let him stop people from being murdered. Please comment and let me know what you think if I'm on the right track or not. So drugs and gang violence are two things where people die. People die all the time. And there's no stopping it unless somebody takes the time and trouble to stop it. No one's done it before. No president, no mayor, no governor has stopped it. No congressman, no senator. They don't even bring up bills to stop it. It's something I just don't understand. So please comment. Let me know what you think. I mean, the Democrats need to revamp everything. Otherwise, they're just going to lose next year. If you don't take some of these things into consideration and not be hypocritical about some of your stances and not really figure out what you're thinking and figure out what's right, figure out right from wrong, you're going to lose the next election if you can't figure that out. If you're not compelled to really try to understand what's happening and what's right, you're never going to win. The Democrats won't win, but you'll have no chance in the next election next year. It's not that far away. We're a year away from Congress and the House and the Senate. I don't know, the midterm elections. Think about this stuff. I beg you to think about it. Comment, like, do everything you need to do down below. Hopefully, I give you something to think about, and see you next time.